Welcome to the City and Guilds Level 2 Technical Awards for Key Stage 4 webinar. We want you to support you in the delivery of City and Guilds Key Stage 4 Technical Awards to ensure your learners have the best experience. City and Guilds Technical Awards are part of a suite of DFE-approved technical qualifications for 14 to 19-year-olds. Our technical awards are Level 2 qualifications for 14-16-year-olds, and they're all 120 guided learning hours. Technical certificates are Level 2 technical qualifications for learners aged 16+, and these range from 360 to 450 guided learning hours. And our tech levels are Level 3 advanced technical qualifications for learners aged 16+, and these range from 360 to 1080 guided learning hours. This onboarding webinar will cover the following areas. Getting started, resources to support your delivery. Before starting delivery, it's really important that you read the qualification handbook to familiarise yourself with the content and assessment requirements of the qualification. Please note that qualification handbooks have been revised for September 2017 delivery, and the changes are outlined on page 3. We have a range of resources to help you, including a technical qualifications welcome pack, resource lists and a purpose statement for each technical award that you can use in your marketing activities, sample curriculum planners for 1- and 2-year courses, a teaching, learning and assessment guide, marking and moderation guide, an exam timetable, sample assessment materials, an exam specification document to help tutors prepare learners for exams, a principal moderator reports on the website and events to support the marking of synoptic assignments, exam officer events and webinar, and technical awards information for new centres and Key Stage 4 FAQs. So, looking at the qualification handbook changes for 2017, all the handbooks were revised in summer 2017. You will find qualification handbooks under the Documents tab under the relevant qualification. All centres should work to the revised handbook, including centres that started delivering technical awards as 2-year courses in the 2016-17 academic year, and centres that are starting to deliver technical awards from September 2017. Please note that the teaching content has not changed. The changes are outlined on page 3. You should be aware that the assessment objectives for the synoptic assignment are now 1 to 5, previously 1 to 8, and the approximate weightings may have been readjusted. And for some technical awards, the exam weightings have changed and the duration of the theory exam has increased. You may be delivering City and Guilds Technical Awards over 1, 2 or 3 academic years in years 9, 10 or 11. This means that you can select when your learners take their theory exam and synoptic assessment. Each technical award is assessed by a 1 theory exam and 1 synoptic assessment. Learners must pass both the theory exam and synoptic assessment to successfully complete the qualification. Only 1 resit is allowed. This is a DFE regulation for all technical qualifications. So, timelines for starting delivery. We have some key dates. Registration. You will need to register your learners in Walled Garden by the end of the first week in November. And the final date for registrations will actually be on the website and on Walled Garden. The exam timetable will be published early in the autumn term each year and will have the 2 set dates and times of the theory exam in the February-March series and the May and June series. It will also show the dates of the synoptic assessment window, which will be open from February to May.
Regarding booking assessments, you will need to book theory exams and synoptic assessments in walled garden for learners taking their assessments in that academic year. You can request paper-based or online via Evolve theory exams. The only exception is engineering, which is a paper-based exam. It's important to remember you must not book both online and paper-based for the same learners. And it's again, just to reiterate, it's important to book only for learners sitting the exams this year. So if you look at the bottom of the page, you'll see we provided a link to the resources and support webpage where there are a number of documents and videos provided that will help with booking assessments and to support you in using walled garden. So timelines for starting delivery. The synoptic assignments, these will be released to centres in the autumn term and are available on the website under the assessment materials section of the relevant qualification. They will all be password protected and the password will be available in walled garden. The last date for the submission of marks and evidence for the synoptic assignment will also be published in the exam timetable. So City & Guilds has a moderation portal, and this allows centres to upload marks and evidence for all the components of the technical qualifications. We also have a moderation portal centre guide which can be found on the resources and support webpage, along with a video to support centres in how to use the moderation portal. It is essential that you do submit marks and evidence on time, as any late submissions may delay the availability of results to your centres.
So, how to register your learners? You will need to register your learners by the end of October. Registrations should be done in walled garden, for which you will have a username, which is your email address, and a password. So, to register a learner, click on Catalogue in walled garden, then click on Catalogue in the second navigation bar. Select City & Guilds and select Qualification by title or code. For example, 1145-20 or the Level 2 Technical Award in Engineering. Click on the green bar, Place an Order. Click on Named Registration. Then for each candidate you will need to add candidate details. Enter the first name, the last name, the date of birth and gender for each candidate. When you've finished, click on Add to Basket, then click Confirm. A series of how-to guides, including one on registering learners, can be found on this link.
So I've produced a visual to show the key dates in each academic year. Again, it's important to remember only to book the synoptic assessment and theory exam in the year the learners will be sitting them. So to take you through the typical academic one-year delivery, by September, obviously approval for centre approval and qualification approval will have to be in place. At the start of the autumn term, the synoptic assignment is released to centres. By the end of October, it's important that all learners are registered. From November to January, the exam and synoptic assessment booking window is open. There will be a range of moderation support activities within the new year to help centres with moderation. The synoptic assignment is going to be made available to learners in a date in February. Again, that date will be available to you in walled garden. The first exam series opens between February and March, the theory exam, and also in February, right through till May, the synoptic assessment window is open. At a date in May, usually sort of around the 18th of May, it is your final date for centres to submit their marks and evidence for the synoptic assessment. There will be a second exam date available, which is the May and June series for those learners who aren't successful from the February and March. A moderation report will be made available to the centre in June. Results will be issued in August, along with certificates for each learners. All this information is available in a welcome pack on our website.
If you are planning a one-year course, you need to think about the opportunities to undertake the exam and the synoptic assessment in that academic year. So there are two opportunities in each academic years for learners to sit the theory exam, and one 12-week window in the spring and summer terms when learners can undertake the synoptic assessment. The theory exam can be taken in the spring and summer term. So if you choose to enter your learners for the spring theory exam, it allows an opportunity to resit in the summer term if required. The synoptic assessment must be completed in the 12-week window between February and May. There is no opportunity to resit the synoptic assignment in the same academic year. So looking at a one-year sample programme, you would start teaching delivery in September and deliver that teaching content up until the end of January. The first exam dates would be in February or March. There would then be some more teach time available in April and a second exam date in May, June. The synoptic assessment would have to be completed between March and May. If you are planning a two-year course, you have some flexibility about when you offer the theory exam and synoptic assessment. These can be taken in the first or second academic years. A summer term theory exam in year one allows an opportunity to resit in the spring or summer term in year two if required. This means that you will have almost 2 full terms of teaching delivery before the learner attempts the exam in May, June. In the second year, you will have some input into teaching delivery between September and the end of January. The learner then could take the exam for the first time in February, March, or if they've taken it in May, June, they could take a resit if required. They would also then take the synoptic assessment between February and March, and they could do that as a resit if they've taken it in the first year.
So this is a visual again. It's a sample of a curriculum planner. We have available for each of the 8 Key Stage 4 technical awards. We have both a 1 and a 2-year sample of delivery plans. Now these curriculum plans, rather than talk you through, will show key dates, the key dates when you can register. It will show your exam dates for that year. It'll also look at the delivery patterns, tell you when the synoptic assignments are released to learners. I've also put in some revision and mock sort of time alongside the academic year, so you've got plenty of time to prepare learners for this. And also it tells you when to book your resits, when to submit your evidence, and obviously some sort of some support along the way. Now these are going to be available on the website, and it just gives an indication of why we suggest holistic delivery rather than unit delivery, as the exams and synoptic will be based on the qualification syllabus and content rather than unit by unit for Key Stage 4. These should be available on City and Guilds website under the Resources and Support tab on our website.
The theory exam is the externally assessed component of the technical award. The exams are written by City and Guilds and marked by City and Guilds examiners. The exam is designed to assess the learner's depth and breadth of understanding across the content of the qualification, using a range of question types. The exam contributes 40% of the overall mark for technical awards. Centres can choose a paper-based or an online exam via Evolve for their learners. Please note that theory exam for the Level 2 Technical Award in Engineering is only available in paper-based format. Exam papers are dispatched to centres 2 weeks before the exam dates. If you're choosing an online exam, centres are given a login approximately 10 days before the exam date to access the online exam. And centres must comply with JCQ requirements for keeping question papers and other exam materials secure. And there's a link here to the JCQ requirements. The way the exam content covers the content of the qualification is set out in the exam specifications section of the Qualification Handbook. Let's have a look at an example, and the example here is the Level 2 Technical Award in Designing and Planning the Built Environment. So we can see under exam we've got two codes. 004 is the code if you are wanting to choose an online exam for your learner, and 504 is if you are choosing a paper-based format for the exam. The units are listed that are covered, so here we've got 205, 206, 207, and we can see here the number of marks that will be derived from these units and the percentage contribution towards the overall mark. So we've got 3 units here, plus we've got integration across the units, totaling 60 marks, which gives 100%. The results of the exams will be made available in walled garden. If a learner fails or underperforms, they are allowed one opportunity to resit. And the resit can be taken in the next sitting, which might be in the next academic year. A resit opportunity will need to be planned into your programme according to the duration of your course. The resit will be a different exam paper, and if the resit is failed, the learner will fail the technical award. Learners who've passed the theory exam but want to attempt to achieve a higher mark can be entered for a second opportunity, and the best result will count. And there is a fee for the resit exam.
So over to the Synoptic Assessment. So the Synoptic Assessment is a controlled assessment that is actually set by City and Guilds. The Synoptic Assessment is an assignment which includes written and, where appropriate, practical tasks, and has to be undertaken within a set window between February to May. The assignment is uploaded onto the City and Guilds website in the autumn term in the Assessment Materials section under the Qualification Information Document tab and Assessment Materials. The assignment is password protected. The password can be found on walled garden under the qualification code or title. So if it's the code, you just enter the 6-digit qualification code, for example 6720-22. There is only one opportunity in each academic year for learners to complete the Synoptic assignment. Learners who fail or underperform will still have an opportunity to resit, but that resit opportunity will be in the next academic year. And of course the Synoptic assignment will be different each year. However, if the resit is failed, the learner will not achieve the qualification. So continue with some additional information about the Synoptic. Learners will have to complete a piece of work which they carry out independently. Tutors must not provide feedback to learners during the summative assessments for the assignment, as it is the learner's independent performance that is being assessed. Learners may only be supported in understanding what they have to do and be given general pointers without specific feedback on actions to take or comments on the quality of their work. Any level of this support provided must be recorded on the candidate record form. The time allowed for the Synoptic assessment is given in the Synoptic assignment pack, which is produced every year. Further information can be found on City and Guilds qualifications handbooks. And the time allowed gives learners time to prepare, plan and complete the tasks and to produce the evidence. So learners don't have to complete the assignment in one day. There may be a series of tasks that might take it over a period of time, and if you have learners for only one afternoon or so many hours per week, the Synoptic assignment may run consecutively over a number of weeks. But centres can plan the schedule for the Synoptic assignment according to the volume of learners, timetabling, the physical resources and of course the tutors available. The assignments are internally marked by tutors, and tutors should use the following forms, and these are the candidate record form, the centre standardisation declaration form, a declaration of authenticity form, a personal interest form where applicable, and a practical observation form. All of these forms can be found under the link that we provided on this slide under Technical Qualification Centre forms. It is worth noting that a different assignment will be provided each year, but the evidence produced will be internally marked using the same marking grid each year in order to support comparability across the versions. So looking at the assessment objectives now, we have 5 assessment objectives, which are AO1, objective 1 is recall of knowledge. Assessment objective 2 is understanding of concepts, theories and processes. Assessment objective 3 is the application of practical and technical skills within the qualification. Assessment objective 4, bringing it all together, in other words, coherence of the whole subject. And of course, AO5 is about attention to detail and perfecting. Now, it's important to remember that each assessment objective will have an approximate weighting depending on the qualification. This information is available in the Qualification Handbook, along with examples of the types of evidence that can be provided for each of the assessment objectives. So, tutor responsibilities for marking the synoptic assessments. It's important that tutors are familiar with the marking and moderation guide. You should comment on the quality of work produced and only allocate marks, not grades, against each of the assessment objectives. A suggestion would be, when commenting on a learner's quality of work, to refer to the language and terminology used in the actual assessment objectives. Tutors will then total the marks for each learner out of a possible of 60. You will submit the marks for the whole cohort, but you submit learners' evidence for the sample depending on the size of the cohort. Now, you will get to know, you will be told by your moderator the size of the sample that is required, and that depends upon the number of learners that you have undertaken the qualification. So if you have 10 or fewer learners, we will require 100% sampling. In other words, all of the evidence for the synoptic and all of the tasks. If you have between 11 and 100, we will look for a sample size of 10. If you have between 101 and 200, we will be looking for a sample size of 15. The sample should include, where possible, the highest marked learner, the lowest marked learner, and a range somewhere in between. Again, all this information is in the marking and moderation guide. And finally, you should ensure that all your evidence to be uploaded is collated in a logical order and named with the relevant tasks. For example, if tasks 1 is a report, it should refer to that as you submit the evidence. Again, links to where you can find information are on this slide. So, how are technical awards assessed and graded? So, I appreciate there's quite a lot of information here. So the overall the results of the theory exam and the synoptic assignment, an overall grade will be made available to centres in walled garden. Now, the overall qualification grade is calculated, and it's based on the aggregation of the points awarded for the learner's achievement in both the theory exam and the synoptic assessment, and they are converted into grades. So the grades are fail, pass, merit, distinction and distinction star. Both assessments, which is the theory exam and the synoptic assignment, must be achieved at a minimum of a pass for the qualification to be awarded. Learners who fail to reach the minimum standard for the pass grade for an assessment will not have a qualification grade awarded and therefore will not receive a certificate. Now, there is no set pass mark published in advance, as this is decided by an expert panel using an awarding process, although we will be able to indicate the pass grade boundaries from the previous years. So the contribution of assessments towards the overall qualification grade is set out in each of the qualification handbooks. So looking at the table below, it's just showing a comparison really of how the grades are awarded for technical awards and how they compare to those of GCSEs. So if we look at a 4 and a 5 will be somewhere within a pass range. A 6 is a merit, a 7 would be a distinction, and up to 8.5 is a distinction star. Now, Ofqual may alter these grades in line with GCSE gradings 9 to 1, which is where a formula may be applied to allocate the percentage of learners who can be awarded a distinction star.
Internal quality assurance must be carried out on the centre's marking of the synoptic assignment to ensure that all assignments at the centre have been marked to the same standard. It is the internal quality assurer's responsibility to ensure that internal standardisation has taken place and that tutors receive training, including the use of sample synoptic assignments and marking grids. In some cases, there may be only one tutor delivering and assessing the qualification. Therefore, it is essential that the centre's quality assurance policy is followed. City and Guilds uses a moderation portal to allow tutors to upload marks and evidence for the synoptic practical assessment. The key contact in the centre will be given a password to access the administrator account and then create marker accounts for tutors so they can input marks and upload evidence. We have a link to a guide here on the moderation portal. What happens in terms of the moderation process, this involves a remark by City and Guilds of the centre's marking of the synoptic assessment. For technical awards, this is done remotely as opposed to a visiting moderation. The outcome of the moderation process will confirm whether the centre's marks are accepted, adjusted where they've been marked too leniently or too harshly, or subject to a full remark and the moderator's marks are accepted. Centres will be notified of the outcome of moderation and will receive confirmation of final marks for learners and feedback on the accuracy of their marking. Technical awards are given a discounting code by DFE if they have significant overlap with the content of other GCSEs and/or technical awards. This means that two qualifications with the same discounting codes cannot both count in the Progress 8 and Attainment 8 performance measures. So just to highlight that the City and Guilds Level 2 Technical Award in Constructing and Maintaining the Built Environment and the Level 2 Technical Award in Designing and Planning the Built Environment have been given discount codes. That means that they both can't count in Progress 8 and Attainment 8 performance measures. If a learner passes two qualifications with the same discounting codes, they will receive two certificates of achievement. However, only one qualification will count in the school or college's performance tables. There's a link here to further information about discounting codes. DFE has produced some guidance on calculating Key Stage 4 performance points for 2016 to 2018. So here we've got a link to a document which has been published by DFE, and within it there is a further link to a document which will provide information on how to calculate Key Stage 4 Attainment 8 and Progress 8 performance measures. All City and Guilds technical awards will count in Key Stage 4 performance measures from 2018 onwards. The exception is the Level 2 Technical Award in Automotive Technology, which will count in Key Stage 4 performance tables from 2019 onwards. If you have any questions or want to get in touch, please contact us at technicalawards@cityandguilds.com. Thank you for listening.